Start of my day is get to the job location. Then it is put on all my appropriate PPE, vest, hard hat, safety glasses, steel toe boots. I load up knowing I won't be back to the truck until lunchtime. And then it is task specific as to how much tools I load up into my vest. We're doing the easement, we're hanging flags at the easement, and then if a tree was within the easement, we're tagging it to be removed, and if it's not, we keep moving. And then head into the woods.
Safety is huge. Safety is our #1 goal. We work in dangerous environments, from dead trees to power lines to just slippery slopes when you're hiking up a mountain following where the power lines go. There's always something that is dangerous about what you're doing. One of the big things is that we all have company trucks and we all are driving consistently around. And one of the biggest things is being a safe driver, being conscientious about that, and watching how other people are acting. We park along the side of the road all the time and making sure that we have our gear out, showing that this is where we're at, having our cones out, making sure that we stay safe is massive. Sometimes it's okay to take that extra time to choose a better route and hike down in a different way. Or when we're working with the tree crews directly and they're doing cuts, we have to know where our safety zones are, where the fall zone is. It's great how close we work with the other crews that are also contractors.
Auditing and checking work that's already been done to make sure that it was done to the specs of the utility. Also taking inventory of what work needs to be done in the future. I also, every once in a while, will go into the office and do a little bit of the GIS work, which has been really interesting to be able to do that. I didn't really have any experience with that when I came in, so that's been really fun to learn that. A non-routine day would look like going to see an outage tree. If there is a particular customer that has questions about work that's being done, or if they get a notification in the mail saying that work is going to be done to their property, and explaining that to that specific person.
There is a tree blocking the road, or something is going to affect your power, so I'm going to call that in and get that taken care of immediately, and then I'll continue to work plan the road. Core duties would be to, alert my utility of any impending hazards that I notice that are out of the norm. Aside from that, I would work plan each span from pole to pole. I would see, what needs to be maintained, and how can we do this in a cost-effective manner to the best of my ability. Look at the health of the trees, the plants around it, maybe see if if it's salt or erosion that might be affecting this tree, or if there's a fungus. Someone I knew recommended this position to me. They said, you should look into this. I really recommend it. I enjoyed doing it, and they described it to me. And I thought about it for like half an hour, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, I want to do this. So just the difference between the online description and hearing a person tell me what they're doing on a day-to-day basis definitely made a huge difference. When they described the job to me, they told me about how I would be out here every day checking the trees, helping to ensure that customers' power isn't interrupted. And a big part of the sell was days like this, where you hear the crickets around us, which I'm a total nature dork, so that's, that was a huge sell. And then practicing, my dendrology, my forest health. I'm continually learning about like cankers and fungus and what can affect trees and what to look for structure. And so I like continuing to learn, and that was a huge draw. I really enjoy working outdoors, especially on days like this when I can hear the crickets. Sometimes I'll find a rare plant, but I really love working around the trees, looking at the variations in the bark, the difference in the way they grow, in their habitat. There's definitely a daily checklist. Okay, you got this, you got that. How much does your safety vest weigh? Oh, a little too light. Okay, you forgot your stapler. No, it's definitely, there's definitely a checklist, which is great, and I feel like those emails reinforce that.
So my core duties vary from day to day. They can be anywhere from hanging easement flags and making a decision whether a tree should be pruned or removed, or it's you go and you audit the work of a crew, whether it's the floor work that they performed or the sideline. You go and make sure it got done to the client's standard. When there is a storm, you have to go and be available for the client then and be ready to do whatever is asked of you, whether it is go help a crew get going, go sweep some lines that had some damage. Other core duties that are asked of me is when there is what we call outage trees. Anytime there's a storm event, whether it was high wind, snow, trees come down on the line, we as the forestry department are asked to investigate that. So when a tree locks out a line and disrupts the flow of electricity, people lose their power. It can be a frustrating thing for our customers to have electricity and lose it and have it and lose it, but that is what's going on, is that they're actively trying, and sometimes they got to shut the power off to safely remove a tree and then turn it back on. The most interesting thing I've seen since I've had this job, it was post a high wind event. I believe the winds were going over 25 miles an hour, and a big 120-foot pine tree came down in the middle of a phase. And when it came down in the middle of that phase, it crushed the corner structure like a tin can. And of all the storms I've responded to and all the downed trees I've seen, I've never seen a structure crushed like that. The awesome power that we're working out here with, between the potential in the trees and the nature, or Mother Nature itself, with high winds or snow, it is incredible what can happen.
A lot of times during storms, that's when the safety of the community is kind of at the height. Tracking down those outage trees and making sure that if there is still something that's hanging on a line, making sure that that gets addressed quickly and effectively so that it can, become not a risk anymore.